So anyway, guys, the high level, what's going on is like very soon I'm flying to Florida for this finance conference. It's gonna have a bunch of people whose like Substacks and writing I've been reading for a long time. So I'm like, I need to like make sure I gotta get out there. I gotta talk to these people, and I gotta try to get some of them as guests on Big A this year. I have to get them as guests, at least like, one or two. I'm trying to introduce myself. I'm trying to network. I'm gonna come with a big bag of Enron hats and try to sell them. That's the idea. I'm flying pretty soon. It's also raining, like flash flooding here in LA, so I have to leave earlier than I thought. I did want to do a presentation. Here, I'll call the Uber and see if I can do it. Like, I'll do a short version. But I'll give you a 5-minute breakdown, all right? A 5-minute breakdown. Let's see if I can do this in 5 minutes, because I have to go to a flight, of what the hell's going on in 2 seconds. This is about this recent piece by Ray Dalio called "It's Official, the World Order Has Broken Down." I read it. I encourage you to give it a read. It's not that long. And I thought it was actually really fascinating. We talked recently about Mark Carney's speech. By the way, everything all of these leaders are saying is just aping Mark Carney's speech, but later. But Mark Carney basically said the old world order no longer exists, and the middle powers of the world need to team up. Well, other people are starting to come in. So Friedrich Merz of Germany, they had this conference recently, the Munich Security Conference. America was there, France was there, Germany was there, people were there. And normally it's kind of a boring affair, but all these world leaders are coming out and saying similar things. The rules-based world order no longer exists. Macron agreed in France, and also Germany and France are now talking about sharing a nuclear umbrella, which is again, more part of like this EU separating from America, making their own military bloc type thing. Marco Rubio from America was there, also agreed. The older world order no longer exists. Now, he tried to add on some stuff about rebuilding the transatlantic alliance, but it wasn't super well received. And basically, Ray Dalio says, all these people are saying that, and it's true, it's happening. We're seeing breakdowns that have happened before in history, okay? And he talks about these 5 stages of war. Now, this is not a guarantee or anything, but I want to walk you through them because his historical parallels are true, and they are tracking to what's happening right now. He said, basically, if you look at the 10 years prior to every major conflict, things like, the ones you'll see here, Napoleonic Wars, the World Wars, 30 Years War, prior to these huge amount of death conflicts, the 10 years prior, there's like repeatable stages. The first one is a trade war. It starts with a trade war. Okay, you can look at things like Germany and the UK prior to World War I, there was a massive trade war. You could talk about Japan and America prior to Pearl Harbor. America blocked scrap metal and oil trading to Japan, which made Japan desperate. And so they're either like lashing out in China, and then also there's all these examples of like trade war. So step 1, trade war. We have that now. Then phase 2 is like a tech war, where certain technologies become part of national security. Now, nowadays, that's like chips, AI, data, algorithms. Like, you can think of China locking down the algorithm for TikTok. You can think of America locking down access to NVIDIA chips. Like, these are tech wars where like certain things become really important tech, and people try to lock down and control the tech. This has happened with like railroad tech, naval tech in the past. All right, then you get to phase 3, which is where we are right now, if you follow his logic. Phase 3 is a geopolitical war where you have the pieces on the board start to move, where different alliances start to shift and get made. You get territory disputes, alliance disputes. You get people moving into different blocks. You get these blocks created. We're having that right now. And in fact, I want to follow up. This is not part of Ray Dalio's thing, but I looked into it. We talked about Mark Carney talking about, hey, the middle powers need to work together. Well, guess what? As of like 3 days ago, Mark Carney announced, hey, we're teaming up the TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership, which used to include America, but Trump got us out of it. The TPP is teaming up with Europe to create a giant middle powers trading bloc. I made this map. The green is the TPP countries, and the blue is the EU. And all of these countries, UK included because it replaced America and the TPP, are teaming up in a trade agreement that's going to give them leverage and power as like a middle powers thing. This is isolating America and also giving them leverage against China. Both of them are trying to kind of bully them. Isn't it missing most of the Asian partners? Yeah, I'm sorry. Japan needs to be in this. South Korea is not in it. This is correct outside of Japan. Japan should be in it. So these are all teaming up right now to form like a trading bloc, but also America's making moves in LATAM. Russia's obviously trying to gain Ukraine. China, sending goods and weapons to Iran. Like, people are trying to build these blocks. China also funding Russia's war effort. Like, there's these blocks starting to get created. So phase 4, how we'll know if this is happening, if it gets to the next level. Phase 4 is this one. And I do have to go like right now, I'm sorry. But phase 4, this is how we'll know it's getting real, is when you start seeing things like financial controls. This is like asset freezing. This is like, which happened with Russian assets. This is like capital controls. Make it hard for you to get money out of the country. They can do things like America did in the past, where they freeze access to buying gold, where you as an American citizen are not allowed to own gold. You have to sell it back to the country. This shit happens. Like, this is the signs of like countries starting to tighten and control financial flows so they can use that money for the war effort. That's the next step. And it's happening in some tiny stages in a lot of countries, but like, this is the big next phase that you would start to see. And then the final phase, if people can't back down, and Ray Dalio is not saying it will happen, he's saying the pressure starts to make it more likely to happen because leaders can't back down. If we get to the last stage, it's a military hot war, and who knows, we're in the age of nuclear weapons, who the fuck knows what happens. This hasn't happened really, outside of maybe Russia, Ukraine, in the modern nuclear war age, like between new nuclear powers. So it's crazy, but that's the direction we're heading. And I think it's a pretty powerful piece. And again, I like this quote from a French economist back in the 1800s that kind of predicted World War I. When goods do not cross borders, soldiers will. If you look at the time period leading up to World War I, it is all rising trade tensions, rising tariffs, rising trading blocks, rising. This shit is like the normal human precursor. You start with an economic war, and then you get to, and again, I've talked about, German tariffs in 1879, the United States and Britain freezing Japanese assets. This is like 6 months before Pearl Harbor, okay? Like, this stuff doesn't happen out of nowhere. You can follow the steps. It starts economically and it turns hot. And then you get Pearl Harbor. I don't know what'll happen, but I do know that I think his advice at the end of the piece is apt, which is like, your leaders should be smartly looking for win-win partnerships wherever possible. If you are trying to squeeze somebody, they are eventually going to go around you or try to squeeze back. You have to find win-wins. So all of this to say, none of this matters because the Dow is over 50K and I have to go. I wouldn't worry about it. The Dow's over 50K. Guys, thanks for checking in. I have a lot more to say when I'm back, but I have to go do this. Thanks for watching. I will be able to hit the ground running once I'm back on Thursday. Appreciate you. Goodbye. Wish me luck in Florida.